were raised in the inner city who lived on the same block. All went to the same schools, played at the same parks. Their mothers went to school together. Fathers went to school together. Their whole families went to school together. These 5 boys had love for each other. Until one day one of them moved 20 blocks to the west. Other one moved 20 blocks to the east. Another one moved 20 blocks to the north. And the other 20 blocks to the south. But one of them stayed in that neighborhood and never moved. They all joined organizations in the neighborhood for different reasons. Some to belong, some to feel protected, some for loyalty to the neighborhood, and some to protect the neighborhood. But these 5 boys are now enemies. Why? Because of the block? These boys don't speak to each other anymore. Why? Because of the block. These 5 boys don't hate each other, but they will kill one another. Why? For the block. The block. What happened to the love on the block? What happened to the community on the block where everyone held you accountable? People, it's time to get back to the block.
What's up, Chicagoland area? Welcome to the block. I am your host, Todd Clark. And listen, I'm super excited today for you guys to join us. As I've said all the time, we are a solution-based podcast. This podcast exists to provoke conversations that will build partnerships, formulate strategies, and initiate solutions which will directly impact the homicide rate, incarceration rate, recidivism rate, and high school dropout rate in the Chicagoland area. Another focus of ours is just to team up with those organizations who are dominating in the Chicagoland area and surrounding areas in the 7 mountains of influence. This area, these mountains are areas that influence society, the mindset of society, and the culture shifts. These areas are family, religion, education, government, media, arts and entertainment, and business. And as I said, these are the key areas of society that, when influence, shape our culture and worldview, and also our minds. So today we are continuing our journey. You know, we want to partner with these organizations who dominate in these different areas, who have schools, who have programs and different opportunities in the Chicagoland areas that can help build families and individuals in these areas of the 7 spheres of influence. And so we're going to be partnering with, and today we'll talk a little bit later about a school that focuses on arts and entertainment. We want to highlight their programs and expose what they're doing in the Chicagoland area and how to be a part of those programs, how to help the young people to get involved in creative arts, and how they can build their talents and their niches, and also sharpen their skills by being around people who have excelled in those areas. And also we want to partner with them and to serve them in going out to the communities to expose their programs, because this school that we're going to talk about later on is a school that's on the south side of Chicago, but we want to expose them to the north side, to the east side. And so also in the areas of business and media. And so all of these different schools who function in these areas, we are partnering with them. We're going to not only be a podcast, but we're going out to the block. We're going out to the block to meet people, to introduce them to these programs, and to let them know that, hey, these areas that we said we're trying to attack, the recidivism rate, incarceration rate, we want to change that by providing tools and resources that will help these young people and also families to change the dynamics and reshape culture. And so today we're going to talk about arts and entertainment. Arts and entertainment. And I want to ask you a question. How important are the arts to culture? Check out this video.
What it is we're communicating, how are we communicating, how do we actually realize our human potential? That is cognitive and emotional, and that's where the arts and culture come in. What is freedom for?
Art represents a form of individual expression that is a sort of bulwark for any democratic society. Art is representative of human engagement with ideas.
To show our autonomy, to be able to be or become ourselves. Arts provide the opportunity to have the experience that we are independent human beings.
A song or a painting may have been created for a purpose of a kind, recreation and entertainment, or for social justice.
Freedom of expression of all kinds, but certainly artistic freedom of expression is absolutely fundamental. When you find that people can't just say and do and express what they feel, you already know you're in deep trouble.
We should protect artists by not defining their role, by giving him the margin he defines for himself, for his creativity.
If you look at the history of authoritarian societies, it's often underground cultural producers that are at the vanguard of thinking about how to oppose the regime in sometimes quite innovative and alternative ways.
All right. And so this video just really expressed how important art is to culture. Listen, we understand Chicagoland area that art is expression. They mentioned creative expression in the video. They mentioned how there's different forms of expression. We see a negative form of expression that we want to tackle in the Chicagoland area, because creative arts and the field of arts are expressed from emotion. So you might see a painting, and if somebody expresses the painting to you and explains it, it was painted out of the emotion. It may have been something that was near and dear to them. We see when somebody acts on the stage, or either in plays or in films, a lot of times we see them and we say, wow, it's amazing how they brought that character to life. And sometimes if you talk to them outside of that production, they'll say that character is really me. And so they were able to put their emotions into that character, because really that character defined who they are as a person. And so they just acted it out. And so we understand that we have to help in the Chicagoland area to curb some of the expressions and the emotions that we're seeing in the inner city, which respond or which end up being in murder, end up being in high school dropout, emotional, end up being in robberies, or going in and out of prison, people doing things out of emotion. And so they don't know how to place their emotion in the right places. And so sometimes we get negative responses and negative results. Listen, I'm excited. Today we have a gentleman who is, I'm going to run down his accolades. He is a guy that is very in tune and understands the Chicagoland dynamic and the inner city and the schools and what's happening in the Chicagoland area. He's a Chicago native as well. His name is James T. Alfred. And this gentleman, let me give you some accolades. He on Broadway, he played in August Wilson's Jitney. He just came off of a 2-week stage play of The Piano Lesson in Cincinnati, which is another awesome play by the legendary playwright, August Wilson. Off Broadway, he's played in Marcus Gartley's Black Odyssey. And then he's been a part of several regional theaters as well. Now watch this, in film and television. He's been on Matlock, FBI, The Blacklist, Law and Order, Organized Crime, Chicago PD, Blind Spot, Prison Break, Empire. Come on now, Boss with Kelsey Grammer, Cold and Windy, and Power Book 2, Ghost. And so this guy is very accomplished, but we're going to talk about how he's gotten to this point. And also his education is a Master of Fine Arts from Harvard University and Moscow Art Theater School. Some of his awards are African American Arts Alliance Awards, Black Theater Alliance Ira Aldrich Award. We want to introduce a dear friend of mine, Mr. James T. Alfred. How you doing, sir?
Oh man, as my daddy would say, I'm suffering nicely.
Man, it's great to.
Let me clean up a little couple things, because
Okay.
you'll have people coming after you.
Okay.
I did the Broadway tour of Jitney.
Yes.
I did not do the Broadway production, but the tour, it was after it was on Broadway, it went out around the country.
Okay.
Of course, it was shut down by COVID.
Yeah.
And then we did a two city production of The Piano Lesson. It's called a co-production. In
Awesome.
Milwaukee, we ran
Okay.
for 4 weeks, and then we went to Cincinnati and ran for 4 weeks.
Yes, sir.
So,
Oh.
yeah, just want
Thanks for straightening me out on that,
Yeah,
brother. I don't need nobody coming after me, man.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, we excited to have you today, man. We know that and you know it was so important for me to connect with you, James, because I know that you know. I know that you know, at the block, our desire is to, as I've said before, is to reach out to the Chicagoland area with as many testimonies and also resources that they can
Mhm.
identify with to say, hey, you know, we can change the mindsets and help to change the mindsets of the individual, the family, as well as the community. And today we're
Mhm.
talking about arts and entertainment. And so this is an area that you've been dominating in, you've been excelling in, you know. And how has it been for you just being in this field? I'll just start off with saying that. How has it been just being in this field? How does it make you feel
It's
to be
been
a part of this arts and entertainment?
I'm very grateful, very fortunate to be a part of what I call a celebration of Black life, of the effort of taking ordinary people and elevating them to extraordinary heights.
Yes.
That's my mission. That's the goal. That's what brought me to it.
Yeah.
Um, like we was trying to be Michael Jordan
All day
and
long.
and, and play for in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I actually, of course, once that dream was what going to happen, like everybody else, I got a job in corporate America,
Hmm.
and then I went to the theater and had my mind completely blown.
Mm.
My soul was wrecked, man, from a play I saw,
Yeah.
and I think uh, that was the moment that I was convinced, or that I recognized that art is transformative and it
Mm.
does have power.
Yes.
Growing up, I thought art was for girls and not so aggressive boys.
Right.
We played football and rough house and things like that,
Hmm.
and dancing, writing, ballet, and
Yeah.
visual art and theater. All that was for other people.
Yeah.
But truly truly a living witness to an example of how art can transform lives.
Yes.
And I heard in your intro that made me think about something that I think that people miss. We use this term art so loosely.
Hmm.
Oh, it's art.
Hmm.
I think for me, art has to have one element to make it art. And of course, people will disagree or agree
Yeah.
or whatever, it doesn't matter. But for me, it should reflect.
Yes.
It should have a reflective quality
Hmm.
to reflect what is happening around you,
Hmm.
to you, before you,
Yeah.
and what particularly if it's prophetic, has the ability to show you what was going to happen later
Yes.
on down the line. And
Yes.
that's what I saw. I saw men on stage that I had never seen um, in that context,
Yeah.
and I saw myself.
Yeah.
And so in so
Wow.
doing, it really changed my life.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So just kind of backtracking, you were kind of getting into it. You know, how did you grow up? How did you grow up in the inner city, and what obstacles did you face uh, during your younger years and growing up in the inner city?
Well, like most of us, we grew up in the inner city where there wasn't a lot of investment in arts programs, in
Yeah.
schools for that
Yeah.
matter.
Right.
If you weren't an athlete, nobody was really paying attention to you to do anything else.
Right.
Um, Unless you won the talent show and you did you impersonated Michael Jackson, or you came out and you could sing, and
Yeah.
usually there were outlets at the church, or
Right.
there was somebody. But if your home did
Yeah.
not have that kind of investigation,
Hmm.
uh, that kind of interest, that type of investment, you kind
Yeah.
of fell by the wayside. I know so many people that talk about how they had dreams of being dancers or singers or actors or writers or producers, but they never had access. And I
Right.
think that is the thing.
That's
So
that's
growing up, I
important.
grew up in Woodlawn in the South Side Chicago.
Yes.
First up on 6215 South Wabash,
Hmm.
which is a part of the Washington Park homes. There were three identical brick buildings:
Hmm.
6215 South Wabash, 220 East 63rd
Yes,
Street, and
sir.
6217 South Calumet. That was
Yes,
known
sir.
as the Washington Park homes.
Yes,
They
sir.
were, and they were nice communities up until crack came through, and then
Yeah.
the
Oh
rise of
man.
of the street organizations
Yeah.
to basically operate that industry. But
Yeah.
I was more afraid of my mother than I was afraid of anybody doing
Oh
something to me in the
man.
street.
Now that's
You
that's
know,
that's
so
old school.
listen, that little 5'2", I call her 5'2" giant. She
Yes,
didn't
sir.
play. She wasn't having it. So, and then just the recognition of her sacrifice and how much she was really trying to with her limited knowledge and her
Yeah.
limited education,
Yeah.
but she still was trying to figure out, how do I get this kid on a track that he could be a productive citizen of society. So,
Mm.
I had to navigate all the pitfalls that you had to navigate, and
Yeah.
other black men, gangs,
Yeah.
drugs, alcohol, lack of resources, lack of business investment.
Yeah.
So just wanting to make my mother proud and wanting to put myself in a position to do something for her and the teachers in school. School was different. The
Yeah.
teachers that invested in us, that poured into us, wanted to
Mhm.
make them proud. So
Right.
just having that desire to want to do something with my life
Yes.
that they can look at and
Yes.
say, "Oh, he did okay for himself."
And you know what?
Yeah.
That's interesting because I just think about so many of our people who come from that same background, same environment, got the same obstacles. And like you said, your goal was to make mom proud. You wanted to make sure that she can look at you and say, I raised a great young man. But in the midst of uh, those obstacles, because they were not light, they were not something that was easy to just go around, because we were faced with them every day. They were at our arms reach. We could go left any day at a drop of a dime. So just to be
Real
motivated. Go ahead.
real quick, and the difference was, Todd,
Mhm.
though, I knew I couldn't go and become a millionaire selling drugs, and my mother was going to accept the money and be proud of me.
Different
You know,
mindset.
again, household
Yes.
principle,
Come on.
values. I knew that I've seen guys who
Yeah.
took and transformed their parents' lives,
Yeah.
bought them cars, clothes. They took them out. My mother she wasn't going to be happy
Right.
about any of it.
Yeah.
If I became the biggest kingpin in Chicago, she wouldn't
Yeah.
have been happy.
That's right.
She wouldn't have been happy. So I didn't even think of it. I was
Yeah.
like, I can go out here and get in the street and make all this bread. Where am I
Yeah.
going to bring it? She wasn't going to take it.
She wasn't gonna take it, and you knew that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I knew that.
amazing. That's
I
amazing
knew that.
because you know what? It's it takes a certain determination to make up your mind to say, you know what? I see what's going on. That's not me. That's not a reflection of who I'm going to be. That's not going to be because not only because my mother's not going to accept it, but I know I'm better than what I'm seeing. I'm better than what's before me. I know I can be successful, but mom is a great motivation. And so, Block, those people watching now, just to hear Mr. Alfred's testimony of what mindset he had to have. It is possible in the midst of everything that he was surrounded. What grounded him from what he's saying is that he wanted to make sure that he made his family proud. And he knew that he did not have to. That was not a mandate for him to blend in to what he was seeing, the negative attributes of the community. And so that's amazing. That's amazing, James.
My mother, real quick, my mother, and she made it very clear. She made it very plain. My mother sold weed. she threw parties.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, she's a gangster.
You around it, right?
She was a gangster. So,
Wow.
but she would always, but she let me know that I could really do this at another level, but because of you, I don't.
That's awesome.
And because of me, and it was the
Right.
same mindset.
Right.
I could have did it. I could have got hooked up with everybody. I'm smart. I could have risen in the ranks of the clique. I could have
Yeah.
sold, but I knew because of her,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gonna do that because it
Right.
wasn't gonna mean a hill of beans to her.
Not at all. Not at all. But I'm hearing you say that sometimes parents, even though they may be participating in the lifestyle, they have to have a mindset or try to develop a mindset. And sometimes it's hard depending on, what they've gone through, the trauma they've experienced and things of that nature. But even some who've experienced those things, they have to have a determination. I'm not going to allow my son or my child to be engrossed by this environment. I'm going to do better for them. I'm going
Well,
to.
it's all comes out with your aim and your intention. She was doing the things she had to do because she was trying to survive and feed her son.
Right.
Like most of us,
Yeah.
dad for whatever reasons,
Yeah.
went away.
Yeah.
He wasn't around.
Right.
And so with the help of the family, she had to figure out how she could provide a decent living, a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food on the
Right.
table for me and her.
Right.
You got to remember, in 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
these men, a lot of them were well-intentioned, but there were obstacles.
That's right.
Some of them would work at these factories and companies, but they couldn't get union cards.
That's right.
So they get laid off for a month just to keep them from getting in the union. Some of them were resigned and relegated to menial work or back-breaking work. They didn't have the access or at least they didn't find the opportunities.
Right. Right.
Or professions like in engineering and in law and I mean it changed the game when they got access to being bus drivers, police officers, firemen, and things like that.
Yeah.
That changed the game.
They turned the corner on that one.
And even that, one might ask, but was it really for the betterment? I remember a lot of people try to act like they don't remember. I remember, so to your audience, the block, the hundreds wasn't wild hundreds when I was coming up in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and it didn't happen until like the late 90s.
That's right.
The hundreds was nice. When you live past 87 and 95th Street,
you was doing good for yourself.
Doing it big.
That's right.
You were doing it big.
That's right.
So now that they had access to them jobs, the kids were latchkey kids. Take the father and the parents out of the house, let them work, kids raising themselves, then look what you got.
Right.
So it goes back to aim and intention. My mother's aim was not to sell weed and throw parties and hustle, along with having a job, so that she can just go out here and floss and drive a Cadillac and have the nicest clothes. She was doing it because she was trying to figure out, what do I got to do to take care of this kid?
That's right.
So when you have an aim, and you see that now reflected in quote unquote art, and in the way we do it, everybody's aim has changed. People want to be, they want to be known as the best dresser and having all the money and driving the biggest car, and et cetera, et cetera. And ain't nothing wrong with having nice things. I want it too.
That's right.
But when your aim is that,
Mm-hmm.
I think your path and your the manner in which you go about that difference. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
No. That's awesome, because what you're saying is so relevant. That aim, that intention, that changes the whole scope of, like you said, some people have had to do that, live a certain life, participate in certain things. They felt like they had to do that in order to survive. They were taking care of their children, but in their mind, they knew that they were working towards getting out of that situation. That was temporary. That wasn't something they were going to be living in permanently. They had an aim in their mind that they gave themselves 3 or 4 years. They gave themselves 2 years. I'm going to be out of this, and my whole family's coming out of this. So, like you said, that aim, that's so relevant. And for those who are watching on the block, that's something that we really don't want to act like we don't understand what families and what parents have to go through or have to do to survive. But what we're saying is that, even as we talk about arts and entertainment, we're saying that look at your children, and see, their interests. Start talking to them and engaging with them, because, it may motivate the parent as you see your child that's interested in something. It may motivate you to say, you know what, let me make sure I get on my P's and Q's and do what I need to do to get them into an environment where they can be successful in that area, and this is temporary. And so, James, I wanted to ask you so out of all of that, you came out of that, you were going to school in Chicago, and then you left.
Yeah.
You went away. You went away to a school in I believe in Mississippi. And how did that change you? How did that prepare you or help you to gain interest in the field of creative arts?
No, the first thing that got me even interested in performance.
Yeah.
I was in 8th grade, and prior to 8th grade, like grade 6 and 7, this girl used to win this trophy every year.
Yeah.
and it was a big trophy. And I
Right.
was like, I want to win that trophy. How do you win that trophy? Well, I found out that she was doing this speech competition. It's called the oratory competition.
Yeah.
And when she graduated, they needed somebody to compete.
Right.
And the speech teacher, the speech therapist, saw me do a Martin Luther King speech for Martin Luther King celebration program at the school, at the grammar school,
Yeah.
and asked me if I would come in and read a poem with her.
Okay.
I read a poem, and she said, would you like to compete in the oratory competition? I said, is that the competition where you get the big trophy? And she said, yeah. And
Yeah.
she said, yeah, with Celeste.
You knew you wanted
That's
the
what
trophy.
I did it, and I won that trophy. And then, but again, after that, what do?
Right.
I went to Hyde Park High School.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into the radio TV program, but I never figured out how to get in. It was never a black and white. You can do it in your junior year, or go talk to Miss so-and-so.
It wasn't clear. It wasn't clear.
It was always some runaround. So I said, forget it. I joined the swim team.
Wow.
And then I got on the swim team after being cut from the basketball team.
Yeah.
And again, that was because I felt that was going to make me stronger.
Yeah.
That's the note I got from Coach Lau. You got to get strong. So I went down the swim team to get stronger.
Yeah.
And ready, but still hooping.
Still hooping.
I left Hyde Park, went to my best friend at the time, Walter Simmons.
Yeah.
Was at a little private school down on 47th Street.
Okay.
I said, it's an opportunity to hoop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would go with him. Once again, praise to my mother.
Yeah.
She found a way to pay for me to go to this little private school.
Yeah.
But she was not happy with the male influence, with the cultural development.
Yes.
The coaches were one thing, but she felt that I needed men around me that would be an example. Because she came in the gym one day, she heard him cursing us out.
Right.
You know how these coaches do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They own you.
At the time, he was like, "Well, this is how this is how you coach."
That was the culture.
And God rest them. Those men, they were well intentioned. They were just trying to bring out the best
Build
of
us up.
But she had gotten a job at the Water Reclamation District, and her friend told her about. She was saying, "I got to find a school for my son. I don't think I can keep paying for this school. It's too expensive, and I'm not really happy." Grades, I was fine, but I need him to be around more men. She told her about the Piney Woods School. That's in Piney Woods, Mississippi, established in 1909 by a man named Lawrence Clifton Jones, an African American male, a man who was armed with $1.65 and a degree from the University of Iowa, or Iowa State. And went down to the backwoods of Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
And started a school on the log of a cedar tree.
Yeah.
First schoolhouse was a shed. And so that school's still around today, 117 years old. And that's so when I went to that school, that's the first time I saw people that looked like myself.
Yes.
That were literally talking about college.
Right.
And
That's
we're
a game
preparing.
changer. Yeah.
We're preparing, like writing essays. I'm like, they're talking about, that's the first time I really heard an active conversation about preparing for the ACT and the SAT.
Right.
If you were not in the magnet program at Hyde Park,
you didn't hear about it.
You were in a general education. They were not trying to prepare you for that. You were going to be the person that got a job as the bus driver, post office, or what have you.
That's right.
So when I got to Piney Woods, that's what really, I was like,
change your whole mindset.
All black people running the school.
Yeah.
2,500 acres of land. All these kids from all over the country.
Right.
That were serious about college.
Yeah.
In my mind, I can't go to college. I get a scholarship because I get an athletic scholarship.
Yeah. Yep.
But
That's how we thought.
Damn, they're going to college.
Yeah.
So I got serious about that. And I went on a tangent. Your question was, how did I find the school?
No. Now, how did that school shape your mindset? And you talking about it now. How did it shape your mindset?
So they shaped, being there,
Yeah.
I saw examples of people doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
First of all, a president of a school.
Right.
All my teachers were black, except two.
Yeah.
They all had degrees.
Yeah.
They all were college educated.
Yeah.
Basketball coaches. I saw kids playing tennis, soccer. That was different.
Yeah, totally different. But when
That was different.
Yeah.
But then going to college, that's when I say, damn, the possibilities of just endeavor is limitless here.
That's awesome.
And
man.
that really started changing. Now, if I'd gone to that school probably for 4 years, I'd probably be to me a machine.
Right.
But
right.
the 2 years I got there were very productive and influential, developing my scope and my paradigm on life and achievement.
I'm very familiar with Piney Wood because I went to Jackson State, and so when I was down there,
didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to Jackson. So I would come up. So I would go to USM Hattiesburg and ride straight past Piney Wood. Sometimes I would go off in there, so I know exactly where it's located. I've been back there, and so it was amazing because I didn't find out that you went to Piney Wood until years later, and I said, wow, I was down there from 90. Well, actually, no, I stayed in Jackson for like 15 years, but I knew some people who went to Piney Woods. There were some younger kids who were being sent there, but yeah, I'm familiar with the school, man. It's an awesome, and it produces some great people. Just all the way across the board. That was amazing. So when you went there, and even after that, did you start taking acting classes at Piney Wood, or did you start taking it after Piney Wood?
No, man. Again, my focus was on playing basketball.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to get to the league.
Yeah,
I was trying to get to the league,
as we all were.
Right, and not making that team as in my freshman year at Hyde Park, man, it lit a fire.
Yeah,
I ended up playing the rest of the 3 years in high school. Played a little college basketball, then I bust my knee.
Right.
I didn't know. I thought about acting and movies and stuff, but like where do I an
where
actor
do you go?
or am I a filmmaker or a producer or a writer or didn't know anybody. Just like that just seemed like it was such it was a dream. Like you
Too
how do you get into
Yeah.
Yeah, it was far-fetched.
Yeah.
And so again, I figured as far-fetched as becoming a professional basketball player, but I figured out if I drop 20 a game and drop 20 dimes, 20 assists,
yes, sir.
I'm going to Georgetown, Syracuse, and I got to do the same thing there.
Yeah.
Same thing there. They're going to see me, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I had a path. I could figure that out, right?
So that lit a fire in you just from that freshman year all the way through.
All the way through. And we seen people do it.
Yes, sir. That's right.
We seen people go, he's a star in high school, he go be a star in college, and he's going to the pros.
Yeah.
I never seen anybody become a professional actor.
Yeah, me neither. Right.
How do you who do that?
That wasn't common.
I didn't even know Minnie Riperton, Shaka Khan, Herbie Hancock, all them at Hyde Park.
You're right. Right.
So how do you do that? So the first thing, how I got into it, once I graduated college, and I started in corporate America,
right?
I knew in 90 days, 3 months, I said, "This sucks. I know I'm not going to stay in this."
So even in college, you wasn't even participating in anything dealing with that. Oh wow! Okay, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
My degree is in international business.
Wow.
I did a semester abroad in Spain so that I can acquire a language skill.
Yeah.
And my ambition at that point was to go and be an expat, a host in a foreign country, doing business for one of the Fortune 500s. I was going to go to Thunderbird University to get my MBA, and focus on a region of the world, and do that.
Right.
But that was I would have to get the muster up, the strength, and the motivation to do that. I started thinking about that, based on conversation I had with my mentor and advisor back in college. But corporate, I hated it. Yeah. And I literally started trying to find a entertainment outlet for my life. I was just like, this is the pits. I started doing community theater.
Okay.
At a theater near my house.
Wow.
I was talking to a woman at work. This is so cliche, it seems.
Yeah.
And we were talking about what we would do if we were not here.
Yeah.
And I said, I might try to be an actor or something. I don't know. Something big. I want to be big.
Something big.
And she said, I got a friend who's a director. He's directing a play right now at the Des Plaines Theater. I said, that's right by my house.
Wow.
And she said, you should go and audition. I think they're auditioning, because she knew the guy really well. She called a dude to set up an audition for me. And I went and auditioned for it and got cast to play. And I did community theater for about a year. And then I went to see August Wilson's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah.
And then I saw August Wilson's Jitney. And I remember sitting in the theater like, what the blank is that?
What is that?
I sat there. I remember the show was over. I remember when I saw Jitney, when intermission came, I didn't move.
Really? It just had you in your seat, just stuck.
I just sat in my seat thinking that I don't want to miss nothing.
Wow.
And I sat there because I couldn't believe it. I thought it was I thought it was some type of trick or that it was a special presentation. I'm like, do you see all these black men on stage?
Did you ever think in your wildest imagination that you would be a part of those productions?
So let me tell you this, Todd. My wildest imagination, the Broadway tour that I did, two of the guys from that production that I saw in 1998 were in that Broadway tour production.
Wow.
And we became friends. They're my friends. One of them is passed on now.
Yeah.
The late, great Anthony Chisholm, ain't nobody like him. He's one of one.
Wow.
And then Keith Randolph-Smith,
Yeah.
Russell Hornsby. These are all my friends now.
That's amazing, man.
These are my colleagues. Russell Hornsby, Keith Randolph-Smith, Anthony Chisholm.
Wow.
Ruben Santiago Hudson. You know,
Really?
he wasn't in that production. But, and then Harry Lennox and Ma Rainey. That's like my brother. That's my frat brother. I'm going to stay at his house Sunday.
That's amazing. Now, Harry Lennox, the one who played on Stump the Yard, he was the father, the light-skinned guy.
Stump the Yard, 5 Heartbeats, Commander in Chief, The Blacklist, Matrix. That's like my brother. I mean, but to watch him do that, and I remember after I saw that show, I said, I want to do that. I didn't know what that was.
Right.
But that later becomes what I articulate as that becomes the celebration of Black life that I had just bore witness to, that elevated ordinary people to extraordinary heights. I wanted to do that and have those conversations. He was having this conversation about God and he was angry. And I was just like, that's me.
That's you.
And
wow.
so
you identified with it.
And as like you say, when your purpose will bring you into what your purpose will, it will be affirmed that you're walking in your purpose.
Yes.
That play I've done, that role, I've done that role, that play.
Wow.
I've done Jitney, the role, that play.
Wow.
But with the guy, he's directed by the man who founded the theater that gave us August Wilson. August Wilson became a playwright at the Penumbra Theater in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Right.
At the behest of Claude Edison Purdy, God rest his soul. Brought him to St. Paul. He got into the Playwright Center. But all the guys at James Austin Williams, Marion McClinton, Luke Bellamy, Terry Bellamy, they were all at Penumbra Theater helping August develop these plays.
Wow.
They've done more August Wilson plays than any theater in the world.
That's amazing.
They did his first play, Black Bart in the Sacred Hills, his first big full-length production.
Yeah.
And people walked out.
Really?
And people were like, this guy can't write.
Yeah.
They believed in him, invested in him, and developed him into a playwright,
And
the
look at
most
it now.
celebrated playwright of our time.
Yes, he
Two
is.
two Pulitzer Prizes, one Tony Award, Drama Desk Awards, Out of Critics Circle Awards.
Yeah.
The guy wrote 10 plays that chronicles the Black experience in the United States, in the 20th century, in the Pittsburgh set, all set in the Pittsburgh Hill District, except one, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Wow.
I mean, to be able to come to this work, and this is what I've been doing for 20 years.
20 years, man.
I've been doing these plays.
That's awesome.
With that director and some others, Ron O.J. Parson, who's in Chicago, who is also a leading interpreter of Wilson's work. Ruben Santiago Hudson, who is on Broadway now doing Joe Turner's Come and Gone, is a leading interpreter of his work. And I consider myself as well as a leading interpreter, one of the foremost interpreters.
Yes, you are.
But to have that happen and to come full circle doing it with these people, these plays, I know I'm doing what I was called to do.
That's amazing because now just coming from, and we're going to go back, just coming from Chicago inner city, from, just having all these obstacles, things that you were faced with, not even knowing as you're going through high school, you're pursuing basketball career. That's all we really wanted to do. We wanted to make it to the NBA. Having that in your mindset, acting, being a playwright, being in any plays, not even being on your mind, coming through high school, coming through college, going into corporate America without the creative arts even being on your mind, not even knowing what you were supposed to be doing with your life. You already had a plan, but that wasn't really what you're doing now. So just to see that whole transition, and then just sitting in that theater and being able to see, wait a minute, this is what I want to be. Now, from that to where you are now, that's amazing. That's amazing. Why do you think that you've been afforded these kind of opportunities to be in these kind of rooms? And I've seen some of the videos that you've shown on, and you probably haven't shown a whole lot on social media, but just to see the people that you're walking into rooms with, the shoulders you've been rubbing, it's not by coincidence. It doesn't happen every day, but can it happen to somebody who comes from that background that you came from, and so it has with your life. But I want to ask you, what is the greatest opportunity that you've been afforded in this arena?
Well, let me say this, and before I answer that, because
Yeah.
I have to say, I want to give shout out to Jackson Park Fieldhouse when they used to put on the gym shows.
Yeah.
With Mr. Sutton.
Yeah.
Mr. Sutton, that was the first, I think, probably the second performance opportunity that I had that was a part of an ensemble, what we call ensemble.
Yeah.
Where we did tumbling and stuff like that. I enjoyed
Right.
that. But Leslie Barron was my
Leslie
fourth
Barron.
and seventh grade teacher.
Yeah.
God rest his soul, she just passed on. Leslie Barron used to always tell me, James Alfred, you need to leave that basketball alone and get your butt on somebody's stage.
She
She
saw
would
something.
always say that to me.
She saw
She would
something.
always say that to me.
Yeah.
And I would be like, get on somebody's stage. And I tried to be a rapper.
Yeah. As we all do.
Just a talent show.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do a talent show, break dancing.
Yes, sir.
But just in terms of the dramatic arts and theater as an art form, I didn't know how to access that.
Yeah.
And your question, you said what has been instrumental in me getting these opportunities?
What has been instrumental in getting these opportunities? Actually, you've expressed that, but what has been the greatest opportunity that you feel that you've been afforded by being in this arena, being in creative arts?
Well, I think I found a way to articulate my triumphs and my trauma.
Wow. Now that's
my pride and my pain.
Yeah.
And I think I found a way to speak truth to power.
Yeah.
I found a way to speak to the ills of society.
Yes.
And as the Bible says, your gifts will make room for you.
Yes.
You walk in that. I walk in that. I walk in knowing that. And I don't. I think business, being in corporate America, gave me, and being an international business major, that gave me the acumen that needed to navigate show business.
Yes.
Because it's business.
It's a business.
But the art of it,
yeah,
my purpose and the opportunities to speak to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been afforded some really good opportunities through just being honest in my work.
Yes.
And having a very defined, specific motive and reason for doing what I'm doing.
Right.
I always thought entertainers, I never thought of myself as an entertainer.
Really?
I thought entertainers were silly people.
Yeah.
You were a comedian, or you were a clown. You know, you like it's entertainer. Why you okay? You sing and you play an instrument, but how is that moving the needle?
Yes.
I create out of the observation of the world that surrounds me, and I can't divorce or detach myself from the Woodlawn community.
Yes.
Which is replicated in Inglewood in California, or over in the Bronx in New York. You know, people catch hell everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
And there's a reason for it. And so I try to make work, engage in work, and make art, if you would, that illuminates the human condition.
Yes.
In a way where everybody can see themselves. And in order to do that, you have to get very specific.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really, my work is rooted in a Black aesthetic. that speaks to Black people
Yeah.
specifically,
Right.
but universally it speaks to everybody.
Yes.
And so the opportunities that I've been afforded, to be a part of a Broadway tour, to be in New York. That's another thing. I think one thing that's instrumental. Sometimes you have to leave home
Yeah.
and go out into the
That's
world
important. Right.
and see.
Get out of your
And
comfort zone.
sometimes now in hindsight,
Hmm.
sometimes I wish I would have come back home after I've done my exploration and
Yeah.
then built what I'm gonna build there.
Right.
But as they say, a prophet is never without honor except in his own home and his own country.
That's true.
Uh,
That's true.
I found more resistance sometimes at home than I found,
Yeah.
being in New York or Los Angeles.
And that's
But
normally, it's normally the way
yeah,
it
but
is.
these opportunities, come with a certain degree of confidence and then being able to articulate what it is that you want.
Right.
But letting the work speak for you. I love, again, I consider myself a part of a Wilson camp, a Wilson fraternity,
Yes.
and which is comprised of men and women that come out of the bowels
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
the forgotten or marginalized
Yes.
communities
Yes, sir.
and people,
Yes,
you know.
sir.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of what I lead in and what carries me.
And
Um,
that's amazing, James, because having it, and you see it in your work, you see it in just your intensity, even in your roles that you play in film, on the stage, you can see it. You can see the fact that you have a passion and a heart for what you're doing, and it's with purpose. It's not just I'm up here just to entertain people, but there's a purpose behind it. You can see it in your art. You can see it in
Thank
your emotion. You can see it in how you can tell that you've studied these characters in order to play them accurately. You can see it in everything I've watched. That's what I see because I've always been into movies. I've always been into I used to know the name of almost every actor back in the day. You could pop up on the screen. I could say his name because
Yeah.
I was into people who could bring characters to life. And so
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. So
But real
ahead.
quick,
Go ahead.
part of the last question, opportunities sometimes they don't present themselves. Part of
Okay.
the question was, did I see you see opportunities coming?
Yeah. Right.
If you have a clear vision of what it is that you're trying to do,
Yeah.
you create the opportunity.
Come on.
And I did that with my solo show, A Brown Tale,
Yeah.
where I wrote about my life growing up in the communities in which I grew up,
Okay.
and created a show that talked about that, and that show was able to play in 6 different markets, 6 different cities.
Wow.
But nobody was when I gave them the script. Nobody said, "Oh my God, we want to do this," except
Yeah.
one theater.
Really?
And then after I wanted it to keep going,
Yeah.
so I went out and found the money
Wow.
and created and produced it myself.
Intentionality.
Sometimes you have to be the person that creates opportunities for yourself,
Yes.
and then other opportunities will follow.
That's
I'm
awesome.
sorry, go ahead.
No. That's
Yeah.
that's good. That sounds like intentionality to me. That sounds like being intentional about being successful, being intentional
Listen,
at all
we're all
costs.
gonna. This is what I tell young people: we're all gonna die.
Yes.
Nobody gets out of this movie alive.
That's it. That's
We're
right.
all gonna die. So
Right.
you may as well figure out what it is that you feel that you want to do. And if you don't know you want to do stuff, this is why I disagree when people say, well, college ain't for everybody. I think if you can go to a place
Yeah.
and you're fed, you're clothed, you're sheltered, and all you have to do is to figure out, to explore
Yeah.
areas of endeavor, reading
Yes.
books or taking classes to figure out what it is that you want to do. And then after you figure out what you want to do, you commit everything in you
Yes.
to becoming proficient and
Yes.
and as irreplaceable as possible in that endeavor. And
Yes.
you watch the doors will open up for you just by you showing up.
Wow. And you know what? That kind of goes into the last question too, because how can we motivate? What would you say to a young person, a young parent? How important is it for them to reach for their goals? And you just kind of elaborated on that. But how important is it for them to reach for their goals in the midst of poverty, inner city crime, single parent homes, all the obstacles? How important is it for them to reach for those goals? And what would you say to them to push them if they want to be in the area of creative arts? Lack of money, lack of resources. What would you say to that youth and parent?
First of all, I think we have to accept the fact that ain't nobody coming to save you.
That's
Nobody's
right.
coming to save you. Nobody's
That's
coming
right.
to save poor people. Nobody's coming to save black people. It's not going to happen. And nobody cares.
That's right. Come
Nobody
on now.
cares about your situation because
Yes.
you can say, well, we have gang-ridden communities. We
Yeah.
have poor schools. We gangbangs. Well, you got the people in Gaza that just they got nothing.
Right.
Or you got kids that crossing the desert, the lost boys in Sudan, watching their friends get eaten up by lions. And more importantly,
Yes.
you come from a legacy of people
Yes.
that was stolen from a place,
Yes.
brought here, and endured the most horrible conditions
Yes.
imaginable.
Yes.
And yet they still survived.
Still survive and still surviving. Yeah.
And still survive. And in some camps, they should have all died.
Yes. That's right.
Or for their freedom, right?
Yes.
But okay, they did. They went through that.
Mm-hmm.
They came on the other side of it. So now you're in America. You got opportunities and access to anybody that's walking down the street,
Mm-hmm.
anybody that's sitting in any offices. And you say, how do you do it? And I always say, just go and do it. I remember when I first moved to New York,
Yeah.
I went to William Morris and told him I need to see an agent.
Mm.
And the guy, he said, do you have an appointment? I said, no. I said, but find an agent back there and tell him James T. Alfred is outside. He said, does he know you're coming?
Right.
I mean, Todd, this is absolutely insane.
Yeah. You just went, above and beyond. Right. I got you.
And the guy, he said, do you know, anybody know? I said, no. I said, just go back and tell him. And I'm telling you, if you don't do it, once they find out I was here, it's not going to bode well for you. So
That's
go and
awesome.
tell the people. And I'm sitting in the back and I'm sitting down.
Yeah.
Man, that dude came back and looked at me like I was insane. It wasn't the same move.
Yeah.
But I went and did it. I did it as an exercise, really.
Yeah.
But I said that to say this. It's methodical. You think of an idea, everything that around you is an idea. A cup, a chair, a school, movies, all that. You get an idea and you figure out, how do I want to go from point A? This is movies and storytelling.
Yeah.
A character going from here. Look at yourself as a character in the world that you're creating. I want to get from here to here.
Yeah.
Now, how does that happen?
Right.
How does that happen? And you figure it out. All right, if I'm a kid that wants to be a singer, I'm a kid that wants to be a dancer.
Yeah.
I'm a kid that wants to be an actor. Well, do they have if you're elementary, do they have a performing arts high school in Chicago? If you're in high school and you discover this desire in college, do they have theater programs or performing musical theater programs in colleges? Yes, they do. What colleges have those?
Yes.
Get down on the computer. Now you got this thing. There's no excuse. You can
No excuse. That's right.
Anything you put in this phone and it'll
right.
pop out an answer. And ChatGPT will give you a plan to do it
man.
all.
Lay it all the way out. Total outline.
So now there really is no excuse.
That's right.
So the advice is literally just get up off your ass and make an effort.
And make it happen.
And I get it. Listen, I get it. Out here, California is expensive. LA is expensive. I work more hours and hustle in many different ways that I never imagined.
Yeah.
Just so I can make ends meet. But you got to steal a little time for yourself to keep the vision.
That's right.
And dream alive.
That's right.
And if it's just 10 minutes a day on the dream, that's what you put into the dream until the 10 can be 20 and become an hour, half hour to an hour, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
There is no excuse because this is what I've come to realize. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. That's right.
Even the people that you thought or
Should
that you
care.
feel or you think that's in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, there's going to be a situation that's going to make Todd Clark have to choose Todd Clark before he chooses James T. Alfred.
That's right.
I mean that Todd doesn't care about my well-being.
Right.
But he has to do what he has to do for himself in that moment.
Yes.
So you have to first start there. This is only going to happen because I made it happen.
That's right.
And I think when you take that attitude, now you're tapping into your divinity.
Yes.
You're tapping into the universe,
Yes.
the will of God,
Yes.
which lives in you.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you're tapping into that.
Yes.
And you put out fires, you solve problems,
That's right.
you overcome obstacles
Come on.
as they come.
Come on.
I mean, like you say, I've had a pretty decent career
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
I haven't made the money I want to make. I haven't. My big goal is to be a series regular on a television show. So how do I make that happen? Especially now that the industry is changing.
Yeah.
People are watching things different. They're consuming television different.
That's right.
But so how do I make that happen now?
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I first came to LA, I was like, man, how do I survive where I got to come up with $8,000 every month just to breathe, just to say I'm here?
Because it's expensive, right?
But people do it every day.
Yes.
And they're no different than me.
That's right.
They're no better than me.
I love it.
So you have to say, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
How could I do it? This very interview right here. When this goes up, somebody can Google, how do I become an actor?
Right.
And somewhere down there, the block, the interview with James P. Alfred and Todd Clark will come up and they'll hear this and they'll show you. And they'll contact Todd. Todd, can you get a guy in touch with that guy? Can you give me some advice, coach me, mentor me, whatever?
Yes, sir.
I've had people, I thought could put me on.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
You have to put yourself on. Put yourself on. And again, and you have to define what's successful to you.
Yeah.
Some people feel like until they become a big movie star, they're not successful.
Right.
Some people feel like that once they become a working actor, that they're not successful. I felt that that was a goal, to become a working actor. I've done that.
Yes.
And I'm continuing to do that. Now the next goal, be a series regular on the network television show.
Right.
Do that.
That's awesome.
You set goals, you put the plan together, and you go for it.
That's it. That's it. Brother,
and that's what your life should be.
Right.
Because you're going to die.
Yes.
We don't know when.
Right.
Don't waste time. How.
Right.
We're going that little hyphen between the date you're born and the date they're gonna put. That's all the time you got.
That's right.
That little hyphen right there. You don't know when that other date is gonna be added on there. And also, there is no failure in attempts.
Right.
You just didn't get it right. You just didn't accomplish it this time.
You can fail your way to the top.
I like to do things, little physical exercise to remind me of that. There's a hill that I run that I couldn't walk up the hill first.
Yeah.
Then I started getting up the hill to walking it. Then I started running real slow.
Right.
And I would stop.
Progress.
And I started running real slow till I get all the way to the top without stopping. And I'm able to run, increase the speed.
That's it.
That lets you know it can be done.
Right. Steady doing it in phases.
And each time I was able to get to the top, that reminded me and affirmed that you can get to the end.
You can do it.
If you do not stop.
That's right. That's right.
If you don't.
That's right.
Now, again, a lot of this stuff is information, but we have all the information we need at our fingertips now.
That's right. That's
and
right.
So
there's no excuse.
Like I said, with my desire to elevate the ordinary person to extraordinary heights, to inspire them, to provoke dialogue, to invoke them to ask the question, why am I here?
Why am I here?
That's what I want to do.
That's it.
Whenever I play a role, whenever I'm a part of an artistic project, whenever I come on an interview, I want to be able to invoke people to ask the question, encourage them to ask the question, why am I here?
Yes.
Because you weren't born for nothing.
That's right. And that question.
There's a bunch of people that try to have babies all the time. They're unsuccessful. They do it with medical help and they're unsuccessful. Right. Then you have people over here that you look like they ain't got no business having no kids, and they got 5.
Right.
But the conception and life is a miracle.
That's it.
And you have to do something with the miracle that you've been given.
You've been given. And you know what, James, that question that you asked, why am I here? Block, I want you to ask Block audience, I want you to ask that question. And we want to thank Mr. Alfred. That information that he just shared, He's spoken with so much passion, spoken with motivation, because this is real for him. This is a desire, a passion. This is how he has reached the success that he's reached. And then he made a statement that he's not where he wants to be, but he's not where he used to be. And so he's steady pushing in that area, getting better as a human, learning his craft more and more. And so we want to say today to those who are watching, this gentleman is a testimony. He is a living example of someone who came from the inner city Chicago and is going after his goals. He has not reached. He has a wonderful resume, an awesome resume. But as you said, he's not satisfied as of yet because he knows there's more. And so today, as a solution-based podcast, we want to give you some options, some solutions for those who are interested in art and entertainment. That's the subject we're talking about today. In creative arts and entertainment, we want to give you a solution for those who are in the inner city of Chicago. I want to talk to you about a school called Art in Motion on 74th and East End in Chicago, who prepares young people. We're going to put a picture up on the screen, who prepares young people for getting in this field. It says it's called Art in Motion. Acronym is AIM. About us, we accelerate student achievement through our innovative personalized learning model and are committed to closing the opportunity gap by providing access to rich learning experiences that allow students to think and learn deeply. Their standards is aligned with a rigorous middle school to high school model, exposes students to real world projects, self-directed learning, and small group instructions. It says that we cultivate a strong learning and working culture and actively embed artistic, cultural, linguistic, and social emotional learning supports throughout the instructional day. Strong relationships are at the foundation of our model, and each student meets with a weekly mentor. This particular school that's on 74th and East End is a school that the block is partnering with, and we're actually going to be going out to the community with this school, exposing the different programs that they have. We're going to be going to communities on the southeast side. They're actually going to be going to the north side because there's some schools, some individuals on the north side who don't know about their school. There's some individuals who maybe out west who don't know about their school. Far east who may not know. So we want to help to expose this particular school by serving them and partnering with them and saying, these programs, we believe in what you're doing. We believe that you're building middle school and high school students in the area of creative arts. And so we're going to show you a video and some testimonies about teachers at the school as well as students and what their programs do for them.
I thought of Art in Motion and imagined this school before I even knew it existed. I wanted to teach at a place that was filled with young folks from my culture that I could relate to. I grew up on the South Side, and I have so much professional experience that I want to share. And I personally just thrive in the classroom. Classrooms have always been a safe space for me growing up, and I love being a safe space for them. And there is so much creative potential, and I really enjoy being here. The kids pour into me just as much as I pour into them. Our students have a real opportunity to guide what they learn and how they learn, and any kind of career opportunity that they don't know about, we usually get exposure to. It's impressive on your high school transcript to see fiber arts and to see cinema and to see vocal and piano. There are so many educational networks and arts organizations that want to partner. Like the South Side has a hub for arts, and the families and the students have access to that and have the school as like a support system.
Something that inspires me as an artist and as a student, because I'm both, seeing everyone else's art kind of like, they can do that, so let me push myself to do better. Like seeing someone else strive and do what they want to do, it makes you do what you want to do. There's a lot of students in here that strive and you make you want to do better. I'm a photographer and videographer, and we had to make a short film, and I made like a trailer. And I just loved how I had all the creativity that I needed. Like creativity was flowing. And I recorded every single last shot in the school. things. This school has enabled me with a lot of skills. So if art's not doing it, if being a photographer is not doing it, I can do dance. This school has dance, it has music, I can do music. The academics here, it's not, it helps me. I feel like I have the resources that I need to do.
Art in Motion is the school that I wanted to attend when I was young. To have this environment where we have guests coming in and we have teachers that are highly skilled and have had the experiences in the art, this is the best possible scenario for our students, particularly here on the south side of Chicago, in that we're a community hub. I live in this community. And oftentimes we don't have the theaters. We don't have the arts venues, the stages for jazz bands and things of that nature. Art in Motion is excellence. It's not enough to just kind of sketch a picture and toss it to the side. It's more important that the student actually build upon their vision and build upon their creativity in order to take it to the next level. My vision for Art in Motion is for our students to be able to take the space within our walls and start to be that celebration of the arts within this community.
The school just has a variety of options. The experience is really good. It's more of you can kind of find what your group is or who you can also find yourself too. That's what I really like about this school, because I feel like you learn a lot here. Like not just like academically, but you also learn like emotionally. You can tell that the teachers actually care about your learning and about what you do. Overall, I feel like a lot of things inspire you, especially here.
Amazing. Listen, I just wanted to highlight that particular school. Go to AIM, Chicago.org. AIMchicago.org. This school is preparing young people to dominate in the area of creative arts. And so there's a scripture that says, each man has his proper gift. First Corinthians 7:7. Each man has his proper gift, one after this manner and another after that manner. Meaning that everybody's been gifted. Everybody has been given something to contribute to society. If you are gifted in arts and entertainment, or if you want to pull out of yourself what's already in you, Art in Motion School in Chicago is the place for it. That's the place to go, 74th and East End. And so again, aimchicago.org, and you can find out all the different programming that they have. Listen, today we want to thank James T. Alfred, my brother. Thank you for being on here with us today. And I'm going to let James has one more thing he wants to add before we shut it down.
Well, I just wanted to say that, I know it's daunting when you don't have a lot of money, and, you come from an impoverished neighborhood where there isn't any investment. It doesn't seem to be any investment. But what I would like to encourage you to do, if you have not, this is for the young people, take a trip downtown Chicago.
Yes.
Take a trip to the North Side. Find if it's theater, if it's music, if it's dance. Google on your phone where there is a dance company.
Yes.
Where there is a theater, where there is a music academy or a music a music institution.
Yes.
And then you go to these places, show up physically and ask them, can you speak to someone?
Yes.
In the respected area in which you are interested in endeavor. And ask yourself before you do that, do I want to be an artist or do I want to be famous?
That's good.
And do I want to be an artist or do I want to be famous, rich and famous? And do I want to be rich?
Yeah.
If you want to be an artist, that is something totally different from becoming somebody wanting to be famous.
Yes.
Because you can do anything, as we've seen, and get enough attention online, and you can become famous.
Yes.
If you want to be rich, definitely don't waste your time being an artist.
Right.
Go and find out something to do. I heard this saying said, don't try to build your fortune in the past. Stop trying to build wealth in the past.
Yes.
AI is on the go now. Everything is AI, whether
Yes.
that's in the financial industry, construction industry, media, whatever. If you want to be rich,
Yes.
be on the ahead of the curve with AI.
Yeah.
And how that's going to influence financial markets.
Yes.
But if you want to be an artist, that takes rigor, it takes study, and it takes intention.
Yes.
Remember, ask yourself these things.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to be famous, don't waste your time trying to find these individual places.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time trying to be rich, be famous. But if you want to be rich and famous, then find out a way to be famous and to become rich from being famous.
Yes.
They're doing it all over the place now on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. You got streamers, gamers. Those people are rich and famous.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily consider them artists.
Right. Right.
So know the distinction.
Yes.
Know the difference.
Yes.
Then your path is clearly laid out for you at that point.
That's awesome.
Whether you come from poverty,
yes.
or you come from no money or more money, be specific in what you're trying to do. Lay out the plan and go for it.
That's awesome.
But know the difference. Be specific. Thank you
Wow.
for letting me share.
That's awesome, James. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Thank you. And I hope those who are listening heard what Brother Alfred was saying. You know, this is be specific. You know, he knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows exactly. He's walked the walk. He's in that. He showed up at places unannounced, you know, to talk to people, as he was just encouraging some to do, and say, hey, I just need to talk to somebody, because it shows your intention. It shows your passion for what you believe that you want to do. And so I want to thank Brother Alfred again for allowing us about time with him. He is in California, 2 hours. Right now, I guess it's about, what time is it now? It's about 2 o'clock out there.
Behind.
2 hours behind us. And listen, you know, just to give up his time today, it was priceless. It was priceless. You dropped some jewels, you dropped some nuggets, and I just hope those who are watching pull from it, parents as well as youth, because together, and you're going to see us in the neighborhoods, on the blocks, talking to people, going to recreational centers. We want you to be better. We want to expose you to things. We want you to know that there is so many, as James was saying, there's no excuse. We have things available that can help you be better and to sharpen the niche that God has placed on your life. And so listen, join us next week as we continue this journey, exposing the 7 mountains of influence. And we'll be talking about education. Have 2 great guests coming with me next week. And so join us. And we look forward to seeing you on the block.
The block, the place where everybody always wanted to go.